Hi guys, what's up? Alex here. Today we are here more F1 co-op career mode with Will, and once again we are here with Williams. This time it is the British Grand Prix, and you can see there we had a decent lap time there, but we cut the corner. I think it was the penultimate corner and ended up ruining that lap because obviously we got a corner cut and the lap didn't count, but that lap showed we could be fast if we just kept it on the track, so we just need to do that. Obviously Will has retired from the session already, so his best result in this will be 11th, which isn't too great for him, but it wasn't all plain sailing for him because he didn't actually have his controller working for this one, which is a bit annoying. It meant that he was using the keyboard, which is even more weird. I think it was like halfway through the qualifying session his controller sort of stopped working and you had to like restart the game and everything for it to work. So yeah, basically he had to go and use the keyboard for sort of the last bit of qualifying, actually the race as well, which meant really he didn't get the best time he probably could have. And obviously at the start of the session the track isn't as good as it would be towards the end and all that sort of stuff, meaning that his lap time wasn't as great as it would be. And obviously through the race it'll be a bit of a struggle as well because the keyboard is not the fastest way to be on F1 2014. I'm sure that there are some guys out there that can be good with the keyboard, but generally I'd say it isn't the fastest way to be driving on F1 2014. Slightly delayed reaction there with the DRS actually, and we're actually 1/1000 of a second ahead of Hamilton through the second sector time there, so we're very close to Hamilton, but can we keep it together in the final sector? If we can, it'll be really good. We get pole position at our home race and at Williams' home race as well. This would just be perfect if we can do it. Final couple of corners here. What we're going to do across the start finish line here, I don't think it's going to be enough, is it? No, it is not. It's only sadly good enough for third place, which isn't too bad. But yeah, third place, we can do something from there through this race. Obviously Mercedes dominating the front row once again. There you can see Will down the order a bit there in 11th place. So he gets to start on some new tyres, but with the keyboard, as I said, it is going to be a big struggle. And as we wait for the red lights to go on here, they are 3, 4 and 5 red lights on here in Silverstone, and out and away we go. Rosberg getting a pretty average start. We actually managed to pull alongside him here and actually get up into P2 before turn 1. Hamilton on the inside, very slow. We try and go around the outside. Is it going to work? We're running side by side with Hamilton here. We're not quite getting the move done. A little bit of side by side action there as we try and get past Hamilton. Not working out. Now we're running side by side. We've got the inside line for this next corner, and we've took the lead of the race here at turn number 4, I think. Turn number 4, turn number 5, I'm not too sure. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head here, but we're in the lead of the race, which is good. Button actually makes a good start up there to P3, and I've got to say, I don't know what's going on with Rosberg's season in this career mode, but he's just doing so badly. He's just like qualifying, he's qualifying alright and then just dropping down the field, and he's already outside the top 3 here, and if I remember correctly he's already outside the top 4 if I remember correctly what Will was telling me here. So not a great start for Rosberg. And for us it's actually a very good start, getting our Williams into the lead of the race, and now hopefully going to stay here for a good amount of time. And if Hamilton does catch up, we've got a decent chance of defending from him. Obviously we saw in qualifying I have the decent pace. It's maybe not as good enough for the fastest car on track and pole position, which was in qualifying obviously, but I might be able to keep him back depending on my sort of fuel strategy and all that sort of stuff. So it's going to be a tough race, but it's actually a Mercedes power unit 1, 2, 3, but 3 different cars. So that's an interesting thought here. Here in Silverstone, obviously a very high-speed track, and you need those engines to be doing well in the race. And sorry if I do sound a little bit weird throughout this whole commentary. I have got quite a bad cold, so I wanted to make this commentary nonetheless, but yeah, got quite a bad cold. And Hamilton going on the attack. Kerry tried to defend from on the inside, but he managed to go around the outside and get the lead of the race. Hamilton takes the lead of the British Grand Prix. Currently a British 1, 2, 3 here. Will comes into the pit lane because he did get a penalty on that first lap, but you can see that Rosberg isn't even in the top 5 here. Obviously Will did sort of briefly get in front of us because he was going through the pits, and you cut out a large sort of segment of the last couple of corners through going into the pits, so that's the way he climbed up to like 2nd or 3rd for a brief second there. But got to say, overall pretty fun race to start off with here. Hamilton not being aggressive or anything. It's nice to see the AI not doing weird things online, which they have done in the past, so nice to see good racing. And look at this, a dive down the inside of Hamilton here. He left a gap, I was like, I might as well take it. Not really much contact there whatsoever. Hamilton left the gap, I went for it. Just running around the outside here, sort of the wet racing line around the outside there. And we managed to keep the lead, and Button is in 3rd place. That's good for him. Skip ahead to lap number 6, and exactly the same positions as it was on lap number 2. So me leading Hamilton and then Button. This is the pit stop lap as we go into the pits. Put it into that lean fuel mixture as I like to do, just to save that little bit of fuel. And who is not going to stop here? I could be wrong, but I think Magnussen is going around for another lap here. And we're going to set the fastest lap of the race, obviously, because we cut that last bit of the track. And it's always a weird thing, doesn't it? Cutting the last bit of the track and getting a fastest lap. But that's just how it is. And so going in, go and get those prime tyres there. Kvyat actually going around as well. So a couple of cars staying out for an extra lap, going over half the race distance on the softer tyres in this race. It was a bit strange to me at the time, but when thinking about it, I suppose it wasn't too bad. And I bet you're thinking like, oh, Rosberg's jumped during the pit stops, hasn't he? And no, at this stage Rosberg actually hasn't pitted at all. I don't know what happened to him throughout the sort of start of the race, because obviously he started on second and he just fell down the order. I'm not too sure what happened on the first couple of corners. Will said there's a bit of contact, but nothing that crazy. So Rosberg dropping all the way down, and he's 5th place currently, but he hasn't stopped. So Rosberg not looking good here, as we just go around the outside of him here, as he's very, very slow through the corner. I think he went for a move on Raikkonen, and it didn't pay off. So there we are, P5 for us. And already, if we finished in P5, that's still a good result. I think we'd still keep our championship lead if we stayed here, even if Hamilton went ahead and won the race, which isn't looking too likely because he's actually held up behind Ericsson, who hasn't stopped. So we decided to go on slow fuel mixture throughout this lap because I was thinking we're not going to be jumped, surely. I mean, we had a massive gap to the cars behind, and obviously Hamilton and Button both pitted with me. So basically, I think Magnussen is the only one that's really a bit of a threat here. He was in about P4, I think, before the pit stops all played out. And I was just like, there's no way he's going to catch up. But we look here, Raikkonen, who hasn't stopped as well. So Raikkonen and Rosberg both having terrible races. I think you'll see him peel into the pit lane there. And if you look in my mirrors, I don't know whether you're going to see it in my mirrors. Yeah, just about there. You saw Rosberg go into the pit lane there. So weird, very weird to see Rosberg and Raikkonen so far down the order. And I have no idea why. Maybe they crashed into each other in the first couple of turns. Not too sure. Anyway, across the start-finish line once again to start another lap. And look at this, Magnussen is going to beat me out of the pits. Well, not quite. It's close, but Magnussen was so actually, so close to actually overtaking me there. But he didn't, luckily, and we retained the lead going on to the last lap of the race. Running a little bit wide there, I suppose you'd say, but really interesting to see how Magnussen managed to keep second place throughout this whole of the second stint. I wasn't sure how, but yeah, Magnussen just having a really, really good race, and he's ahead of Hamilton as well. I can't remember, I don't think I mentioned it earlier on the video, but I think about lap 3 or 4, Will retired from the race, and that's because he was obviously using the keyboard and he pressed the wrong button, went off into the gravel and crashed into a wall, and it destroyed his vehicle. He didn't do it on purpose, but that's just how it is, and I don't think he was honestly going to get any points this race week anyway. He had a penalty and then just like fell down the order, and I don't know, not looking too good for him. But anyway, we'll hope that next race in Germany, I think, will be better for him. But we come across the line to win the race, a really good race there as well. And Button falls down to 5th place right at the end there. Vettel getting past him with a couple of laps to go. So they're a very interesting race there. Kvyat making the alternative strategy work as well, managing to get up into P7. Look at that, Suttel managing to get into the top 10 as well. I didn't notice that the first time I looked through this, but yeah, pretty good stuff there. Winning for Williams yet again. Home race for the team, home race for me as well, so that's nice to win the British Grand Prix. A little bit sad that Will couldn't have got any decent points for the team as well, because obviously he's doing well in the championship, but unfortunately for him, he just had a bad race obviously with the keyboard. So yeah, there are the drivers' standings, and we'll see the constructors in a minute. But thanks again for watching, guys. I appreciate it massively. I'll see you next week, fingers crossed, for another co-op video. I'm hoping to get these out every Wednesday now. Just we need to make sure that Will gets his controller working. So yeah, thanks again. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. It's been Action Out here. Goodbye.